This is our television channel broadcasting under the banner of the Baby Angel Geronimo editions. This one is timed at 06:20 GMT on Monday, the 13th of May 2024. The most important observation to make about the idea of news is that there is no news. That is, the truth of societies, communities, people, anywhere and everywhere is not being told in what are supposed to be outlets containing news. There is no news. So what there is cover up. So news coverage should actually be called news cover-ups or covering up the news. Looking at the platforms made available in the so-called news outlets, especially in the features and comment spaces, again, those who are given the space, given the bylines, appear to be uniformly spewing about things that cover up the truth. For instance, in the Rupert Murdoch-owned and controlled Times newspaper of London, the magazine, this Saturday magazine, has got the front page devoted to the picture. I'm just getting the magazine. Devoted to the picture of this presenter, Emma Barnett. And it's a kind of story promoting Emma Barnett. And this quote is, "I was tearful, angry, depressed. The pain was excruciating. I was losing the will to live." And the description is that she is the new Today presenter. They don't say even the BBC or Radio 4, they suggest Today, as if Today is a universal concept understood instantly, readily by everyone. Emma Barnett is, of course, also a Zionist, a supporter of the massacre and genocide of the Palestinians. She would be among the 99% of the occupants of media platform supporters who would support the attacks on the human rights of the people seeking asylum and refuge across the West, coming from Africa and Asia, where it concerns the channel between France and England. And there is no space in the actual so-called letters columns. The letters column, most widely known as letters column, newspaper letters page, is of course the letters page in the Times. Again, the letters are fillers to cover up the truth of the particular series of topics that are supposed to be in the current days or 24 hours or 48 hours news, that is news cover-ups. So you've got the Times magazine of the Saturday has got Emma Barnett, and then of course there is an interview by Alice Thompson, interview with Rishi Sunak's wife, Akshata, and there is a promotion for the racist Alistair Stewart, who says that the day I was told I had dementia. In the piece, the racist Stewart says that he left the ITV network for GB News after he got involved in one of the literally kind of suppressed incidents of racism, racist opinion that he got caught about. Well, I knew about him as a racist throughout his tenure. Now, in the piece, he discloses that Charles Clarke, who was a minister in the Tony Blair, Gordon Brown regimes, was also installed as a right-wing secretary of the National Union of Students in the 1970s. So when he became secretary of the National Union of Students, I paid a visit to his office, Ansley Street in Euston. And I told him to his face that he was a liar. That was during 1970. So looking at these cross-references, Alistair Stewart, Charles Clarke, or in the Sunday Times, the promotion to David Sleazeball Cameron, there is no escaping the layers of liars. Emma Barnett is not somebody that has got, objectively speaking, investigative, journalistic ethics. And she is quoted as saying, the Today program would never describe itself as a breakfast show, but that's what it is. And that's what I am coming in to host. I don't plan on changing the way I am. How entitled? Emma Barnett is part of the entitled minority of racists that take for granted the BBC as one of their domains, contrary to the idea suggested by the coverage of the Murdoch owned Sun, especially, or the Telegraph, or the Daily Mail. The BBC is controlled, owned and controlled in terms of the agenda by racists, by liars, by Zionists, genocidists, fascists. So they're introducing her, Emma Barnett, there as next week the broadcaster Emma Barnett will get up at 3:30 a.m. and join the BBC's Today team in the newest recruit. I'll read that again because I've read one word wrong. Next week, the broadcaster Emma Barnett will get up at 3:30 a.m. and join the BBC's Today team as their newest recruit. It's just the latest challenge for the 39-year-old Mancunian, including years of IVF and dealing with the devastating impact of endometriosis. Bring it on, she tells Alice Thompson. Now, these are people that are, Alice Thompson, of course, is promoting also promoting the same issue, the wife of Sang Sunak. And Sunak, despite the fact that he is of Indian origin, Indian descent, doesn't have anyone who comes from the ordinary population, ordinary demography, descending from India, living in the United Kingdom. His widely reported best friend is also his political advisor at number 10 Downing Street. And they both went to fee-paying private school, wrongly called public school. It's like the wrong description press coverage, which is actually press cover-up. Now, in the piece that Christina Lamb has got in the magazine, Sunday Times magazine yesterday, promoting sleazeball Dave Cameron, there is no sign whatsoever. There is no sign whatsoever of any awareness on the part of Christina Lamb that she actually claims to have critically aware about the shortcomings, the deficits, the defects, the unfitness for purpose in regimes, in personalities in, say, Pakistan. The most astonishing thing is that this child, Malala Yousafzai, who was attacked in Pakistan, has been made a saint by the Muslim-hating liars in Britain. So much so that she has been, even more prematurely than Barack Obama was given a Nobel Prize. For what? It's not the actual contents of the Nobel Prize, but it's the label that it is used as the Nobel Prize to promote the propaganda. How astonishing also that Christina Lamb claims that she was close friend to or friend of Benazir Bhutto. How can she be also the author of a global bestseller about a book condemning Pakistan for not allowing women roles, women to go to school? I mean, it's not just Pakistan. The whole of the subcontinent has had women leaders, okay, not as many women leaders in leadership positions as there should have been, but there have been women leaders, more women leaders in what are now India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka on the edge, like Srimaba Bandaranaike after her husband's death. Before, Britain has had the woman prime minister, Margaret Thatcher. It would be inconceivable in the context of the anti-Muslim, that is the perspective that they promote about Pakistan, anti-Muslim. I mean, Pakistan has had women leaders. For example, in the 1960s, when the country was under the military control fronted by Ayub Khan, the combined opposition parties had their contestant, rival, as candidate for president of the country, Fatima Jinnah, in the 1960s. And when did Thatcher become leader of the Conservative Party? Not in the 60s. So all these lies by the British about Pakistan as a Muslim country are lies and lies and lies. They're satanic lies. Satanic lies, as it is explained in the Holy Quran, according to the challenge that Satan put before God, to God, against God, saying that he would influence people to stray from the path of telling the truth, obeying the God. So long before satanic verses by Satan Rushdie was confected and promoted in Britain in the late 1980s, the people happening in Pakistan, despite the fact that they say, like Cameron pretends in the Christina Lamb promotion in the Sunday Times article, Cameron says that the migrants are a threat to democracy. How sick! And Lamb doesn't challenge him. She facilitates him. We shall be continuing on all of these and other topics in the framework in later editions. This is just coming to 20 minutes long and ending at 06:30 GMT on Monday the 13th of May 2024.